Welcome to the Jeff
and the Bonch
Show.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah. It's time for Hot Topics.
Sing the song for
Hot Topics, woo!
There you go. He's got his song for everything.
I should be on American Idol, clearly.
I thought you were.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you had that hit.
Yeah, what hit was that?
Macarena. Okay.
Okay, week 2.
Hot Topics.
What stood out to you? What do you take from week 2 where you're like, wow?
The official. There's a few things. Want to start with the officials just for a few minutes? We have to. Everybody's talking about it.
I know everyone's talking about it, and it gives me a migraine to even think about it.
They stink! They stink.
It's not like the regular referees were ever the best in the world, but there is not even a comparison.
Well, now they seem like they're the best in the
world. Now everyone's like,
yeah.
Where's Ed Hockey League? Give me Ed Hockey League, please.
I know, it's insane.
Oh.
They're awful.
It's not, if they were just bad, it'd be one thing. They're at the point where it is laughable.
It's laughable.
It's embarrassing to the NFL.
And I heard that they were putting all the good officials on the primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
And
did anyone watch Monday Night Football?
They were awful. That was the worst I've seen them, actually. As far as
how long did the first quarter take because of all those delays?
It was
an hour?
It was embarrassing. The picture on Facebook of the guy with the
Saints fan?
The Saints fan. And you see him and he's all decked out and he's an official for that game.
Yeah. You would think the NFL would do a background check on these guys.
Oh, social media.
Or the story that broke today that one of the referees said to LaShawn McCoy on Sunday, "Come on, McCoy, I need you for my fantasy team."
That's great, though. I love that.
First of all, I believe it's protocol, it's a rule that NFL referees are not allowed to participate in fantasy football.
But everybody likes fantasy football.
Yeah, but as a National Football League official, I believe it's forbidden.
Probably. It makes sense.
It's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
If this goes on, there is going to be a game where the win or loss is solely decided by a referee's call, decision, etc.
It's just not fun. It's just a bummer.
Yeah, it was one thing in preseason, but with the games counting, stop it, please.
Talk about probably the biggest story of the week.
Oh, what would you say that would be?
The Pats losing to the Cardinals.
I had to restrain myself from laughing.
At Foxborough.
This is interesting to me on a couple counts. Number one, Aaron Hernandez gets hurt. So you would think, okay, they still have Wes Welker, still have Ron Gronkowski, still have Brandon Lloyd. The Pats offense looked lost. I mean, yeah, everyone said, okay, Aaron Hernandez is going to be the focal point, but you would think Tom Brady would be able to move the ball without him.
Yeah, well, one thing I thought is that you looked awful on that offensive line.
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty bad.
Tom Brady, as anyone who's watched the 2 Giants Super Bowls can tell you, when Tom Brady's had his struggles, it's when he's getting pressured.
Yeah.
And the Pats, historically, have always had a good offensive line. This year, there's a lot of leaky holes on that offensive line.
Yep.
And
suddenly, the Pats are 1-1 going to play in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about the biggest whiner in the history of the NFL?
I wrote that down. Biggest baby in the NFL.
I just wrote Jay Cutler is a bitch. That's what I wrote on my piece of paper.
Crybaby Cutler. That's what I call him.
For a guy
Can you imagine being on that guy's team? Is there any player you would want on your team less? Probably not. No.
Now that Terrell Owens is out of the league, that was my answer for 10 years.
A baby.
It's one thing when you have a crybaby on your team. Usually, okay, if you have a locker room leader, you can, keep it, to a minimum. When he's the quarterback,
he gets upset, he yells, and then he just chucks it up there. He has a little fit.
Yeah.
A little fit out
He has, and my main problem is that he's kind of selective with what he whines about because he gets sacked. I understand him being upset because offensive line was not blocking,
and his wide receivers were not catching the ball either.
Oh, that's what pissed me off is because, or what I found very strange, when Brandon Marshall dropped an easy touchdown, you didn't see Jay Cutler yelling at him. He was just kind of like, oh well, try again. But his offensive line gives up 1 sack and he's screaming at him.
He's a huge baby.
How come he wasn't screaming at Brandon Marshall?
And it's never his fault.
It's never the fault that he throws at least 1 terrible interception a game. It's time for Fantasy Focus.
Alright, let's talk about our fantasy football studs for this upcoming week.
Okay.
You got one? Let's see if we got one for Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football.
I think it's a pretty, easy pick for me.
What do you think?
That'd be Steve Smith.
I was going to take Steve Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a guy that I think has put up 100 yards the first 2 weeks or somewhere around
Even
there.
though he's a little banged up.
A little
still
banged
okay
up.
With him?
He came out of the game yesterday with an knee injury, was back in 5 minutes, and had a 66-yard reception right
But he
after
only
that.
had 3 receptions the whole game.
But if you have 3 receptions for 100 yards, it's more about, as Mike Walsh owners know, it's more about total yards than catches as long as you're in a PPR league.
Yeah. Which he shouldn't
If
be.
you
Don't be in a PPR league.
don't listen to him. There's nothing wrong with PPR, but if we discuss that, we'll be here for 10 years. The point is, you have a top quality receiver in Steve Smith who has not scored yet, so he's due for a touchdown. And then you have the Giants secondary, which I don't want to call it putrid.
They're a bunch of bums.
It's not very good from what I've seen. I'm going to say 120 to 130 yards and a touch for Steve Smith. Easily.
Wow.
If not the top scoring receiver of the week in the top 5.
All right, so now it's time for the fantasy player who's going to have a huge game. We call it, what do we call it?
Do we have a name for it?
Fantasy player of the week.
Yeah, let's say just, like
Fantasy stud.
the must start of the week.
Must start of the week.
Yeah, a guy that... Now, no one's going to say in this segment, you can't say Aaron Foster, you can't say Calvin Johnson, you can't say a guy that you're going to start anyway. Let's say a guy that may be a flex play, or
I was
someone
going to say
that...
somebody who should probably start.
You should, someone that you're not just going to have a good week, someone's going to be like, wow, they had a great week.
A great week. Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
the thing. Like,
that's
this
the
guy's
idea.
having a phenomenal week.
Yes. They're going to have a huge,
Wait, I can't say Aaron Foster.
No, you can't say Aaron Foster.
Okay.
He has a great week every week.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I was going to say Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
And I think I could say him.
Yeah.
Right? That's fair
He
enough.
hasn't been great.
That's why I think he's due for his...
He's due for his 400
week.
yards.
Yeah, he's had 2 not good weeks, really. He hasn't
Mhm.
been good. Hasn't been impressive.
Nope.
Calvin Johnson, as a result, hasn't been great.
Nope.
And, I don't know, I feel like this is the week for him. He plays the Titans. Titans aren't good.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to cover Calvin Johnson.
Mhm.
He'll chuck a few up there, get a few touchdowns. I think 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I think you can go more higher than that, actually.
You think so?
I think
Well,
you can go 400.
Well, we'll go 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns.
So, yeah, Calvin Johnson
Maybe a pick.
Calvin doesn't have a touchdown yet, right? I mean,
I don't
come
think
on.
so. That's why
he's going to go 3 weeks without a touchdown.
I think this is the week he's just going to
Yeah.
explode.
For my fantasy must start of the week, I'm going to go down to New Orleans and pick wide receiver Marcus Colston.
Interesting.
Yes, because you have a Saints team. We talked about the 2-0 matchup of 2-0 teams. Here's a matchup of 0-2 teams. You got a Chiefs team that has looked
Awful.
Bad.
Man, I thought they were going to be good.
bad. They went into
Boy,
a
was that
Buffalo
silly.
and got ran over.
Literally.
Yeah, literally ran over by C.J. Spiller. He literally ran all over them. I mean, are the Saints going to start 0-2 at home as inconsistent as their season has been? I think most people think the Saints are going to win this game, right?
Yeah, I think the Saints are going to win this game.
So I just see an angry Saints team coming out at home. Drew Brees having one of those Drew Brees classic 4 or 5 touchdown games. Where
He hasn't had a phenomenal game
yeah,
yet either.
much like Matthew Stafford. He hasn't had that
done
great
better,
game.
but
And,
he's due.
Jimmy Graham's going to have a good game every week.
Yeah.
But I think this is the week that you see that Marcus Colston, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards.
Wow.
A big day for Marcus Colston because he's not going to throw to Jimmy Graham all the time. I mean, are you going to get a big game from Lance Moore? Probably not.
Nope.
So someone else has got to reap the benefits. It's going to be Marcus Colston this week. It's time for Perfect Picks.
Thursday night football.
I don't know what to make of the Panthers.
I don't
think
the
they're a
Panthers.
good team.
I'm taking the Panthers,
You always pick
yeah.
against the Giants.
I don't like the Giants.
Yeah, that's a problem. You pick who
I'm gonna watch
you pick
it.
who you want to win the game.
I'm going to watch it, and my record is better than yours. So
It was in the playoffs last year.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Short-term memory loss.
Anyone who wants to
Long-term
look at the
memory
archives
loss.
when
I'm
Jeff
not
picked the
doing.
Broncos beat the Patriots.
Wow. Anyways, I'm going to watch it in New York.
Why are the Panthers going to win this game?
Because they're going to outscore the Giants.
Okay. It's fair enough.
That's what I think. I think we're
I
going to
don't
have
know.
I expect / hope for what we didn't get last week, which is a fun Thursday night game. Last week, talk about boring.
I think this will be a fun.
I think we're going to...
We have Mr. Color to thank for that.
Yeah, seriously. But I think we're going to have a fun
This is
game,
going to be a
at
fun
least.
game to watch.
At
Should
least
be
I'm
high
hoping.
scoring.
Yeah.
Neither defense is very good.
I expect Cam Newton to have a really good game.
I do think the
Eli
Giants'
Manning's gonna have a
pass
really good
rush can get to Cam Newton, but the way that Cam Newton is built, he can scramble away. He's strong enough to.
Yeah.
I'll take the champs. I'll take the Super Bowl champs in this one on the road. All right, let's talk about two games kind of at the same time. Because, as we said, there's 20 teams that are...
I can't manage that. My brain is too small.
There's... no arguments here. There are 21-1 teams. There's only, I think, only 6 2-0 teams. 4 of the 2-0 teams square off. We have 2 matchups of 2 teams that are 2-0 this week. The first one being Atlanta and San Diego. In San Diego.
I thought you were going to say something like, our birds, or something. I don't think that's true. There's 3. Cardinals, Falcons, Eagles.
Yeah, so 3 are birds.
Conspiracy.
Falcons at Chargers.
Falcons.
Is it? I mean,
it's an easy pick for me.
I
like the Falcons a lot. I don't know. The Chargers, they're winning pretty easily against bad teams.
Raiders and Titans.
Both of whom I don't.
They beat 2 teams that are 0-2 right now.
2 teams that are 0-2.
2 teams that look terrible.
Yeah, so I'm not impressed.
Eagles at Cardinals. 2 teams that, quite frankly, could both be 0-2. Both had very close... I mean, the Eagles should not have won Week 1. They were in major trouble on Sunday. The Cardinals, 2 very tight games. They obviously should have lost the Patriots game. That Seattle game.
It's in Arizona, right?
It's in Arizona. Arizona always plays pretty tough at home. And, the way that defense is playing, the way Michael Vick just throws interceptions left and right...
I'm really torn.
I want to pick... Larry Fitzgerald, and Larry Fitzgerald it's got to be killing him that he's not getting any look. I mean, I'm sure he's thrilled the team's 2-0, but he is overdue for a big game. But Eagles have a strong secondary. I think it's.
I'm gonna take.
It's hard. It's a tough pick for me.
I'm gonna take the Eagles because I think the Eagles are definitely the better team.
Yeah.
And I think they're sort of the case where they're the better team that sort of pulled it out the first 2 weeks and got those wins in the bank. Whereas I think the Cardinals even tried to lose that game to the Pats at the end. They're not as good a team.
Yeah, the Cardinals are not 2-0 quality.
No, they're not 2-0 quality.
They might be a 7-9-8 team again. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Patriots.
The rematch of the AFC Championship game. No Billy Cundiff in sight to miss the game-winning field goal. No Lee Evans to drop the game-winning touchdown. And all of a sudden, both teams that are coming off a loss. I think everyone expected this to be a matchup of 2. This was going to be the matchup of 2-0 teams.
And now both teams really need this.
Now it's kind of not a must-win, but it's a really need it.
Yeah, there's no must-wins this early in this game. When people say that, there's no must-wins.
There's not a must-win, but
really need it.
I think either of these teams starting 1 and 2 are going to be a little concerned.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially the Patriots.
And the Patriots are the team that's
Patriots coming off the bad loss
because the Patriots are going up against a very good defense.
Very good pass rush.
A defense that's better than the Cardinals' defense.
Yes.
And Tom Brady's going to feel some heat in this one. And Aaron Hernandez is gone.
That's true.
It's going to be tough for the Patriots to win this game. And they're on the road. Did I even say that? I don't even remember.
Yes.
Well, then I said it twice because it's important.
Yeah, Baltimore is very, very good at home.
I know.
Very, very good.
I mean, this is the game that people who thought the Patriots were going to lose one game of the year picked them to lose.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, the Ravens are desperate too. It's not even, I don't know. I don't think the Pats win this one.
And that right there is the reason why the Patriots are going this game. Because the Patriots love nothing more than to win the game that everyone thinks they're going to lose. That's been the Brady and Belichick way. As soon as people start doubting the Patriots, that's when they come out and beat a good team. Like, they just come out and they get the W, which is what they're going to do.
No, I'm taking the Ravens.
I'm going Patriots.
Silly.
Pats.
Thank you for watching the first episode of the season of the Jeff
and the Bonch
Show. We'll be back next Wednesday.
Yes, we will be back. Now that we are here, we will be here every week.
Yeah, literally right here.
Right here in this spot every week
at this bar. This is actually a bar where we sit. We drink up some cherry flavored brandy right after every show.
This is Jeff's actually scapegoat for why he makes terrible picks from time to time.
Yeah.
He's
indulging.
He's indulging
in some Kahlua. No, okay. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
We'll be back next week.
Yes,
with
please
more,
continue to tune in.
Stuff.
We appreciate all of our fans.
Yep.
Right. And hope you enjoyed the show.
Bye, everyone.
Shalom. Yeah.
It's time for Fantasy Focus. How's that?
One more time. A little more enthusiasm.
It's time for Fantasy Focus.
Yeah.
It's time for Hot topics.
That's good.
It's time for Hot Topics.